What insider secrets does the company you work for not want its customers to find out? The major gym chain that I worked for actively tries to discourage members from becoming frequent members. How do they do this? They would start by putting treadmills and elliptical out of order, or preventative maintenance, and would keep them out of commission until attendance got to manageable levels where the gym did not feel so crowded and thus easier to sell memberships. And getting out of a membership was dang near impossible. The USA famous brand MyPillow and its official pillow of the National Sleep Foundation means nothing since the owner created the group. Now I'm proud to announce that my dong is the official dong of the National Dong Foundation. I worked for 2 years at a call center for Cox Cable doing tech support for internet and TV. It's more important for the techs to get you off the phone than to actually resolve your problem. Don't blame the techs. They've got supervisors breathing down their necks. And the supervisors are breathing down their necks because customers complain about being on hold so much. When I was doing it 3 years ago, calls had a limit of 7.5 minutes. 7.5 minutes to take your info, diagnose your problem, give you a solution, and resolve the call. The call, not the problem. If the call goes over 7:30 minutes, a supervisor would come over and ask what was going on. I got in trouble so many times for genuinely trying to help people. It was disgusting. One time I spent a good 30 minutes on the phone with a guy in San Diego who was setting up his internet. He was old, slow, and computer illiterate but really nice and patient, so I did everything I could and eventually got him going. He was thrilled. Spoke with my supervisor to tell them how happy he was with me. I got written up for that because I wasted time helping one person when I could have been fake helping many others. I've heard plenty of stories just like this from the other cable companies and the call centers they contract out. Basically, for an inbound call center, the people in charge just care about clearing the calls in the queue, not helping you. No matter what scripted bulls they make the techs say. And again, don't blame the techs. For this, at least, their hands are tied. Also, cable companies are hemorrhaging television customers and will suck your dong to keep you from cutting television service. Threaten to leave, name Dish Network or something, and they'll shower you with discounts. Don't say I don't watch much TV, but do mention competitors. Keep pressing for more till they outright refuse. Then cut the cord when those discounts end. TWC offered to cut our bill by something like 70% and bump us up to 100 Mbps when I called to cancel because we switched to Google Fiber. If they had done that before I switched, maybe we would have stayed. I feel sorry for the workers. She was very nice and not pushy. I'm sure she had lots of refusals. I used to work for IBM. It was well known within IBM that all projects would be significantly understaffed. This meant that the people working on those projects would work their ass off. We were all salaried employees, so we made no more money by working 80 hours per week compared to the normal 40 hours per week. IBM did make more money, however, since most of our projects were billed as time and materials, effectively hourly. When some internal people started complaining about the excessive overtime, IBM offered them the option of becoming an hourly employee. This meant that they no longer had access to healthcare, 401k etc., but they would be making significantly more money, in some cases more than doubling their previous salary, since they would be getting paid for every hour worked. IBM didn't think many people would choose the hourly option, thinking that their benefits plan was enough to keep people there as salaried employees. Of those that were offered the option, something like 95% chose to become hourly. Every single person that chose the hourly option was fired within 1 month. That meant that some projects that were already understaffed were even more understaffed. Many projects were cancelled or delayed because IBM chose to use these employees as an example of what happens when you complain too loudly. Ah yes, IBM. Their one talent appears to be crafting bomb-proof contracts. They'd underbid projects, completely screw the pooch on delivery, but the customer was stuck with them for the duration because they met the terms of the contract. Pizza Hut. We aren't super sanitary. Extra cheese comes on a cheese pizza. The $10 coupon code is 2155. If you tell them you are an employee and use the $10 coupon code, you get a large for $8.80. Most of us do not care about discounts, and sometimes tack them on to be nice. Oh man, I used to work for a department store. I would try to get people deals all the time. During back to school season, I remember this lady came in and I saved her nearly $100 by breaking up the sale and entering in coupons manually. She didn't even ask, I just did it for the frick of it. I work for a mortgage company. 2 things. 1. If you're being foreclosed upon and can afford an attorney, fight it. The number of foreclosures that could have been invalidated if the borrower did something, as opposed to not showing up at all, which is what most do, is higher than one would think. 2. If you refinance, sell your house, or pay off your mortgage, get a copy of your lien release, preferably the recorded one. I can't tell you how many phone calls I get where a sale is being held up because a lien release was never prepared. I work at a very large farming company that grows and packages a certain vegetable. Hint, Bugs Bunny. The store brand and the private label brand right next to it are from the same field and there is no difference between the product in it. I'm led to believe that this is the case with virtually all store brand products. I worked at Subway, which is franchised, so I doubt this is the same for every Subway you visit. But when the meat is defrosted to be used, we had like 3 days to sell it. After that we'd have to throw it away. The franchise owner and area manager would often intimidate staff into keeping the meat on sale for up to 7 days to cut costs. I reported them to corporate, of course. The 3-day rule for open foods is a health department regulation and may, depending on locality, be up to 7 days for certain foods or storage methods, although 3 days for sliced meats is common. Reporting them to the local health department for this is a better solution than calling corporate usually. I work as a sailing instructor at a summer camp. The camp is run at a yacht club, and instructors take kids aged 8-16 out on the water to learn how to sail. Out of the 20 instructors, maybe 3 of them actually have any idea how to sail, and 2 of us have actual sailing certifications. This is true with most youth sports. I coach recreational gymnastics and am pretty much the only actually qualified person at my facility. Used to work at a water park. 9 times out of 10 when the pool is shut down for maintenance or low chlorine levels, it means that someone shat in the pool. Someone died in the pool at Lifetime Fitness and the next day they sent an email saying that the pool will be closed to conform to the rules when an environmental incident occurs. The last job I was at was a family-owned steel supplier in the Northeast US. They carried I-beams, angles, flats, tube, pipe, plate and more. They basically did prefab work, cutting product to length. In some cases, mostly government jobs, the customer would specify domestic material only. If they did not have it, they would have us grind off the heat numbers, a code that offers traceability to the plant it was made, down to the composition of material of foreign material to sell as domestic with doctored mill certs. Shady practice with dire consequences. I used to work in the steel industry, and that's serious crap. With structural steel, the heat numbers and mill brands are there so people know who to sue when a building collapses. I recently started working for a cleaning firm. My boss basically said, it doesn't actually have to be clean, it just has to look clean. In the army we just poured enough bleach to make everything smell clean. You don't have to get a GED. It's just one type of high school equivalency, but GED is synonymous with that concept so people don't know there are other options. Pearson likes it that way because they can charge $120 per test, with most of that money going to Pearson. Pearson doesn't want you to know that, depending on availability, you can also take the HISAT or the TASC battery of tests for half the price or less. Until a few years ago, before Pearson stepped in, the GED cost $10 to $20 in most places. I worked for a home security company. 2 big secrets. 1. About 90% of the salesmen are lying douchebags that will say anything to get you to sign up and then think they can hold a contract against you. But if you complain enough to the right people, the legal department will cancel your contract outright. 2. The equipment is super cheap despite the fact that they tell you that you are basically paying for the equipment over the length of your contract so that you don't have a huge upfront cost. The parts for an average home with an 8-piece system, panel included, only run about $800 at cost, if that, but it depends on the stuff you get, but you will pay out several thousand over the length of your initial 3 or 5 year contract. Any extensions on top of your initial contract with no new equipment or services is money straight into the pocket of the company. Monitoring ends up costing the company a few cents a day when you break enough systems across enough operators. If peace of mind is worth that to you, then go ahead and sign up. Monitoring service is excellent, but the equipment is crap. If you have a central station alarm system, be sure to mention to your insurance broker agent. Most homeowners' policy have a discount for having a system in place, which could justify some of the cost. I work at a big store in the Netherlands, and at the end of every advertisement week we have to make sure the shelves are almost empty so it will look like almost everything's sold out and the products we sell are popular. In reality we still have a lot in the stockroom, but this way people will buy it faster because 1. It's on sale, 2. It's almost sold out, 3. It's a popular product, 4. They think the company as a whole is doing a great job. It isn't really a big secret, but I thought it's quite funny. This is why customers ask if you have more in the back and then employees get mad. Our Chinese manufacturers will be more than willing to supply us with a certificate assuring us and our clients that the cardboard and paper packaging for our new line of electronics is 100% recycled and eco-friendly. 1000% bulls. I called our Chinese suppliers for a food grade certificate for the food grade conveyor belt they sold us. They sent over a rose certificate saying their product could be safely disposed of in a landfill. Sadly, the auditor accepted that. Camera repair. Due to the camera industry, and the entire electronic industry as a whole, actively taking steps to undermine competition, we are barely holding on. Steps the camera manufacturers are taking: keeping all parts breakdowns private, can't find part numbers, keeping all part price lists private, even if you have a number, can't get pricing without calling and ordering it, estimates take much longer, keeping all technical data, schematics, troubleshooting guides, basic information regarding parts, private, raising the cost of parts to point where repair is uneconomical, while still repairing items at a competitive price. Sometimes the repair cost from the manufacturer is $20 more than the cost of the part, refusing to sell parts to repair shops, i.e. Fuji, Tamron, Nikon, Ricoh, Pentax, Sony, Canon being the one exception. But they are raising the cost of all parts by 35% starting the 1st of August, refusing to sell adjustment tools to repair shops. They have them, but will not sell them. Pricing repair and adjustment tools beyond what the market will bear. $250,000 tool required to adjust Nikon lenses. Keeping all necessary adjustment software private. For the longest time the argument I'd hear from manufacturers was, well, if we release this information or sell parts, we can't guarantee the quality of our products from inferior repair. Well, if you want inferior repair, that's how you get inferior repair. Now the argument is we need to protect our intellectual property. The real answer is that repair undermines their ability to make sales. Sales drives the entire industry. Repair actually costs manufacturers money in the end. They have to have extra parts produced. They have to store them. They have to keep track of them. They have to have people to move them around. They need technicians to repair their devices and have staff to manage the repair operations. They need to create adjustment tools and manuals, kept in-house. The list goes on. This is a power play to get consumers money at all costs. Back in 2013, Sierra Nevada had a failure in the landing gear of the Dream Chaser spacecraft during an unmanned flight test. The video cut out right before it touched down. They claimed there was some minor damage. I never actually saw the video, but folks I knew who did said it was quite spectacular, with the spacecraft tumbling over and over, pieces flying everywhere, etc. Anyone who was found in possession of the entire video would be immediately fired. There were a lot of other things about that spacecraft that were very shady, with very poor quality controls and design practices. Big technology companies providing really slick services, especially where you buy things online, make it look like they really have their crap together. Most of them don't. Their back-end systems are held together by virtual rubber bands and glue, and their staff stumble from one fire to another because the management teams never stopped trying to develop new features to allow technical debt to be repaid. The public-facing end is just fancy enough to hide that all from you. This is as true for Oz as it is for Ticketmaster. Jesus Christ, if Ticketmaster looks like it has its crap together, I don't want to know what their back end is like. This is true of academia in general, but you have no idea how much money textbook companies spend on wooing professors. Just to give a couple examples, the last time I went to the big conference in my field, which was held in Atlanta that year, Bedford Street, Martin rented out the Atlanta Braves Stadium, bussed everyone at the conference there, about 2,000 people, gave us a free buffet that stretched through 3 rooms. We were up in the box seats, with an open bar, and they opened up all the games in the back hallways for us to play. Pearson's party was far more modest. They rented out the Coke Museum, gave us all free tours, and their free buffet only stretched through 1 freaking room, but with much classier food, but still had an open bar, just in case you were wondering why those textbooks of yours are so expensive. I worked at Best Buy warehouse. One tip: when buying a TV, make sure the staff in store open and check the screen first before you take it out of store, no matter the size of the TV. During busy season like Christmas, Boxing Day or Black Friday, we will drop a lot of products during shipping and packing, so yeah. Just had this issue. Just moved into my apt, finally got everything unpacked. Pull out the TV and there's a huge crack in it. GF takes it back to the store and the manager said, "You must have gotten too excited and dropped it. We aren't refunding it." She told me that and I almost blew a gasket. She was there for 2 hours before the manager finally took the return. Domino's pizza tracker isn't accurate. Employees can enter crap on the computer to make your order to appear at a different stage than it actually is. The horror. One of my Facebook friends interviewed for a teaching position at the school district I work for. She was nervous and awaited the news with 100% more anxiety than she should have. "The teacher shortage we have here is so bad we'll pretty much take anyone that's completed their certification, including people that have just obtained it and have never stepped foot in a classroom before." Printer cleaning kits are just cotton swabs and isopropyl alcohol. You can buy a huge supply of those ingredients from Walgreens for $5. This is an LPT, and people would appreciate a post as such if it hasn't already been done. I work for a Fortune 100 financial office. I wouldn't trust 95% of the people with a cent of my money. There are a few decent people, but the rest don't give a crap. They want the commission and the policy count. And a ton of them have either been sued, given strikes on their records, investigated for fraud, and or are not allowed to use wording due to their past behavior. I think my manager might have been fricking with me, but when I worked at Jimmy John's we weren't supposed to tell anyone that we make our tuna salad with soy sauce. He said I would be fired instantly if I were to tell a customer. In retrospect, I think this claim is kind of dubious sounding though. Nor another dude above, top rated-ish, mentioned soy sauce being the secret ingredient of their tuber sandwich, and signing an NDA to that effect, but didn't name the chain. Dramatic Inception style tuber, for RMP. Used to work at a car dealership. Don't buy the first times you step on the lot. Negotiate the price of the new car before you tell them you have a trade-in. Most people negotiate the price of the new car and what they want for their old car, but when the sales manager gives the go-ahead for more money on your used car, it comes off the price of the new car, so it seems like you are getting more for your trade-in. Always ask what the on-the-road price is. This is exactly the total you will pay with fees and taxes included. Every dealership is different and fees can mean anything. Our dealership had a sticker on a bunch of different parts of the vehicle, so if it was stolen you could trace it. Bullcrap, and the fees were like an extra $400. The dealership wants you to buy their current inventory. If the vehicle there isn't exactly what you want, you have more room to negotiate the price so they don't have to bring one in from somewhere else. If you're buying a used car, always ask how long it has been on the lot for. If it just got there, it is marked up a lot. Every couple of weeks my boss would drop the price by $1,000 until it's sold. The most profit salesmen make is in used cars. Remember this. The best time to buy a car is at 0% financing, near Christmas time, as it is almost the end of the year or the end of the month, as they are trying to hit certain quotas. A lot of people are only concerned about having a low monthly payment. Put you in a brand new car for $150 a month? Sounds good, right? Not if it's over 8 years, as you will pay nearly twice as much total for the car in that time. The shorter the term, the better total cost of the car. I love that you can now negotiate prices online. When I found the car I wanted, I emailed a bunch of different dealerships around the state and got everyone's offer in writing. I then forwarded that email to the closest 3 dealerships, all within 20 minutes, and went to the one with the best offer. Saved me a ton of time and money. I work for a charity. It's not really charity. In fact, the founders just use the money to bribe people into supporting their brand and flying all over the country giving speeches to big business and crowds of morons. That they farm out their call centers to third-party companies that pay $11 HR, and they have access to all your account info. I used to work for a major credit card company in an outsourced call center. $8 HR. I'm in US. And a large portion of you reading this will have one of their credit cards in your wallet. Former sandwich shop employee. They put soy sauce in the tuber salad. There. That's the secret recipe. Manager made me sign an NDA about it. Spice sauce. SHHH. 3 cups mayo. 1/2 cups soy sauce. Sauce. Currently employed by said sub shop. I worked for a major investment company. I won't say their name, but let's just call them a something itty. And for absolutely no reason I'm trying to remember the brother of Raul Castro's first name. Well, they worked side by side with a Chinese company that was complicit in the genocide in Darfur. And we were informed that if an investor asked about this fact, we were to tell them in corporate speak, if you don't like it, take your money elsewhere. If you order just a cheese pizza at Pizza Hut, it already gets extra cheese for free. This is important, ladies and gents. Isn't that how cheese pizza works almost everywhere? Even at Costco, the cheese pizza has more calories than the pepperoni. I sell cars. Most of the time you won't find the OTD price on the paper because they want you to get to finance and include your warranty in the payment. The verbiage makes it sound free. It is not free. Work with a lot of audio and video equipment. That $50 cable to hook up your home television and sound, the professional grade one, the one that assures the crispest video and sound, buy the $10 one. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.